Hello, and welcome back to Writing with Witches, the podcast where a couple of witches sit and talk about writing, books, novels, whatever you want to call them, short stories, yeah, anything. Today, we're actually going to specifically be talking about how to write body language. Before we start that, though, my name is Leona Urbanski. I am an author with my debut novel that came out in April, and we have a second novel coming out in September. Yes, I am insane. My co-host is.
I'm glad you said it because I would not be able to put out 2 books a year. That's crazy. But I am Nicole Autumn. I am the author of the completed Secret Society series. And for book news, I'm writing. So still chugging along on the Casper reimagining. But yeah, I'm slowly working my way towards the end of that, and hopefully the first draft will be done before the end of July is my hopes, finger crossed. I'm slowly chipping away at that daily writing goal by going over it every day. So fingers crossed. Any book news for you?
Well, it's like trying to race the ETA on Google. How many minutes can you get it down by?
Yes, 100%. I am guilty of that, and that's exactly what it feels like. I'm just slowly like, okay, I gotta keep beating the word numbers down until it's like 0.
Beat them into submission.
100%. Exactly that.
I am mirroring Nicole right now with one of the first drafts that I'm working on. I also have my goal set as finishing that at the end of July. However, you're probably not going to see this book for a couple of years, since I tend to have multiple projects on the burners at once. So yeah, working on that. Still working on the audiobook for Fire Magic. It is just coming along very slowly because I have a window air conditioning unit in my room where I record, and it gets hot in there when I have to turn it off to record.
I can imagine.
Fae Touched, waiting on the last of my beta readers to get that. It's still on track to come out in September, don't worry. ARC signups have already been opened at this point by the time this episode comes out, so feel free to go sign up for that. And wow, that's audiobook, rough draft, revision. Oh, Blood Magic is still in the revision process as well. So that is still on schedule to come out April of 2027 right now.
Hell yeah.
And then we also have the short stories anthology. And since I lost the brain cell, I'm going to let Nicole talk about that one.
So yeah, we have a anthology coming out of all of our short stories that we have written in the past, and still a few more still to come, and one that has not been read anywhere else. So you won't find it on our websites, you won't find it in a newsletter. It is specific to this anthology, and I believe that's coming out in November. So keep your eyes open for that. If you would like to keep up with updates on certain projects, feel free to sign up for the Mythweaver's newsletter. Once we start getting people signing up, we will be sending those out. We haven't talked officially on how often, but I would assume once every month to 2 months would be my guess. So if you want to keep up on all the projects that are coming our way, that would be a good place to go sign up, is the newsletter. That's all linked below, because there's so many projects in the works and more just slowly creeping up, and just there's so much going on. So much going on. So yeah.
Yeah, today was an example of that, of stuff coming up on us, and we're like, oh shite, we need to do this.
Yeah. We try to keep ourselves on task with schedules, but sometimes life gets in the way, and we're like, oh, I gotta get that done.
Yeah, that did that today.
Yeah. I felt like I was so behind because I've been like family busy today. So then like I try and catch up, and I'm like, I have nothing really to input on this, so I'm just gonna leave it and do what I need to get done at home. Yeah, until I can like hop in and really add any input.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, shall we start talking about body language? I feel like I want to do the Ursula thing, the Ursula quote, but I can't remember what it is.
Oh shoot, what is it? Something about not needing her voice because she has body language.
Yeah, something along those
I
lines.
can't remember what it is exactly either. Dang.
It's in the song.
Yeah. And I don't feel like singing that for you.
Not right now,
really. I will say, sorry if I cough. I am still trying to get over this cold, which has been plaguing now my whole house. I thought everyone else was going to go unscathed. But now even my other kids that did not have it are like, Mom, I have a cough and my nose is running. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I tried my best to keep my germs to myself.
That is entirely fair.
So yeah. So if I cough, I apologize to your eardrums. Yeah. But jumping into body language, when you're writing, there are certain reasons why you would want to show body language. This is in terms of showing emotions that you may not be able to necessarily say, or it cues in on emotions that maybe a particular character is not willing to say. So, if someone's angry at someone, or like someone says something smart, their eyes may snap to the person, and saying that lets you know that they are irritated with them or their attention is being drawn to them. So showing emotions that they can't say or don't want to say. I'm so sorry. I'm like trying to get it out, but
use the body language.
The mouth and the brain are not syncing right now. So yeah. Another one would just be to show movement. This is going to be big in terms of, especially if you have multiple characters in the room, or so it doesn't feel so stiff and, what's the word I'm looking for? Everything just like a snapshot of everybody just sitting in the same room, not moving, not doing anything. You may want to show body movements that there is still motion happening within a scene. Like someone pushing their hair back because they're frustrated or stressed, or someone standing up and pacing in the room, because you don't want your scenes to feel, what's the word I'm looking for? Like
static?
Yes, static. That's the word I'm looking for. Just static and just like stuck in time, and no one is doing anything.
And here's one major plus to writing body language into a conversation like that. If you're looking to pad your word count, especially during a big exposition dump when a character is explaining something and you're having a conversation going back and forth between multiple characters, adding some kind of body language or body movement every time a character speaks, one, keeps it from going static, like you mentioned. Two, kind of shows the thought process of what's going on with that character, especially if you're a third person point of view writer like I am. Like, the one scene that I always remember the best is when Brenna is explaining, or they're talking about the Belfries and explaining it to the brother's younger sister. And it goes back and forth between every character. And like, Keen has a habit of swirling his wine in the cup as he thinks about it. Lachlan likes to get up and stalk off because he's a little baby temper tantrum boy. Carrie is usually tucking his hands into his sleeves because that's just how he sits. So that is definitely one way to also break up the dialogue. Because if all you have is straight dialogue with he said, she said, they said, it gets very boring very quickly, and it starts to read like a play.
Yeah.
There's actually a different word for that, but you know what I mean. A script.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
A screenplay. Yeah,
screenplay.
There we go.
Okay. So yeah, adding in the body movement, which shows the emotions without having to be within that person's head, And this still applies even if you are writing from first person point of view, because first person point of view in a single chapter, you're probably only in one person's head. So having them notice the characters they're talking to, his brow furrowed as he talked, gives you the clue he's concerned about something. He had a half a smile as he explained he thought he found whatever explanation he's doing humorous. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like you said, it keeps it from becoming static. Also gives you insights into the characters' personalities, how they're reacting, how they're handling things. So
Yeah. Another big one that I've noticed is showing deception. Body language, everyone typically has a tell when they're lying, unless they are just trained really well at lying. But most people have some sort of tell. Maybe they bite on their lip, or they smile after they say something, or these are little cues that you could give readers when you're trying to either show deception in another character, or someone may notice your main character's deception and they're like, really, I've noticed you do this when you lie and you're a terrible liar. Which I've read that in so many books and seen it in movies, but it's true. Everyone typically has a tell when they lie. So it's also a good way to lead your readers into seeing deception from certain characters based off of their personality or who they are, unless they're just really great at lying. So,
yeah, I mean, if they've been trained in it and that's part of your background for your character, or like Brenna lies all the flipping time. Like she
mm,
literally like the lies just roll off her tongue and very few people actually catch her at it. So that's one example of someone that has just learned how to lie over the years, and that's so it is a skill she's familiar with. But if you put Carrie next to her, he's the term shifty eyes is there for a reason. When someone is lying, it's depending on how they're reacting, usually won't meet your eyes. They usually won't look you in the eye. Now, that could also be someone with ADHD that's just straight up not able to meet, or autism, not able to meet your eyes, period. So
yeah,
don't take that with a grain of salt. But if they normally can meet your eyes and suddenly they can't,
yeah. I would also say
suspicious.
that deception is a good one, but like, um, what was the word I was going to say? Typically, it's also like paranoia. Also, when they won't look you in the eye, or they're like, the looking over the shoulder, or like, paranoia is a big one too, with body language and showing someone's feeling paranoid. But also tension. Tension is a huge one, and this is a good way to build it without saying, hey, this is tense. Do you feel it?
Do you feel the tension?
Do you feel the tension? Um, so this could be tension as in sexual tension. That is always something fun to play with. But also just when it is an uncomfortable situation between characters. Sitting in a room with, you know, someone you did catch lying, or someone that they did catch doing something that they weren't supposed to do and they're confronting them. That is a tense moment, and body language is going to be huge in displaying that. And sometimes it's the smaller movements when it comes to tension, and someone being so hyper aware on someone's body language. And that could just be a subtle shift in sitting. It could be the way someone puts their hair behind their ear or fiddles with their fingers. Tension could be built really well with body language if you know what to look for.
If you need examples of body language where someone is uncomfortable, just watch me on this podcast since I don't like sitting in front of a camera.
I would say you've gotten better at it, but in the earlier episodes, yes. Yes.
But yeah, no,
Um,
any of the ones that above, any stiff movements is also typically a sign of tension. They are not fluid. They are not moving naturally. It's a jerky, unnatural. Because When you are thinking about how you move, you become very conscious of it, which means your conscious brain is controlling how you move. That turns you stiff, that turns you jerky, that turns you shaky
Mm-hmm.
because our brains are meant to move the body unconsciously. And that is when it's smooth and flowing and that kind of thing. That's why you often see, say, someone that's new to dance or a particular style of dance. They're thinking really hard about where their body is going and how it's moving. So they are stiff, they are uncomfortable. That's a sign of tension. Versus the more experienced dancers who have gotten it into their muscle memory, so they're not thinking about it anymore. So they are more flowing and free moving because their unconscious mind is controlling the body at that point. So, kind of a weird example to go off of, but that gives you an idea of why you want to use those stiff, jerky, more unnatural movements versus a more flowing, easy movement. Again, depending on how the character has adapted. Maybe they're used to dealing with that kind of tension, and so they've learned how to lie with their body language.
Yeah. Which I did brush over it, but sexual tension is also a fun one to play with because those will also be smaller movements, but they're more intentional. So a smirk here, or they're the one that we all see written, their eyes darkened, or
That was
or
not what I meant to do.
or the other one that I see is that she looked up between her lashes. These little cues that we see written, although sometimes are really funny because you're like, how is she doing that? um, these are signs of someone showing interest in another person. And those also could be small touches, like a touch on a shoulder or, like pushing someone's hair back for them. These are little signs that help build that sexual tension between characters if you are writing a romance or romantasy or anything with a romance subplot. Those are the little cues that hint to your readers like, hey, this is going to potentially be a love connection here. Sometimes it's warranted and sometimes they're like, no thanks, don't touch me. But it's a good way to show that tension and build the longing and stuff like that between characters.
And the reaction, like you said, the reaction to those touches tells a lot about how that character is feeling about it without having to say they felt uncomfortable. The character freezes, they pull away, they jump back, they shut
Mm-hmm.
down because they don't know what's happening. All of those kinds of movements, or maybe they lean into it. That's definitely a nice sign of reciprocation there. Just
Oh
saying.
yeah. They flutter their lashes at them. Oh. Yeah. It that's a fun one to write. But I'm me. I love writing romance.
No, we had no clue at all.
Me? Write romance? No.
Never.
Never.
Unheard of.
Um but all of this is to say that this is what you hear, or this is what people mean when they say show don't tell. They're looking for those body language cues that come in the form of facial expressions to show emotions that may not just be voiced. It's kind of reading between the lines, if you will, in terms of what someone is trying to portray through body language.
Yeah, and it also kind of helps define a character and keeps them consistent. So, like, I have one character, whenever he's thinking or uncomfortable, he's drumming his fingers on something, whether it's his arm, his leg, the table, something. That's how you always know he's uncomfortable or he's really thinking something through. I have another character that when she gets anxious, she starts scraping her nails across her arm. So all of these are ways that you can show how these characters are feeling without having them say, I have to think about this.
Yeah. I mean, Amy, for example, when she was anxious, she would play with her fingers. And it would always like put her hands behind her, like under the table, playing with her fingers, or she would bite on her lip. These are all signs showing that like maybe they're anxious, maybe they're thinking or in their head, or, saying that they have glazed eyes. They look like they're in a faraway place. That is giving like body cues that someone may not be here in the moment, that they're in their head thinking and things are just going. So facial expressions, body tics, and hand movements are going to be the things that allow readers to see how your characters are feeling without having to physically tell your readers, hey, I'm mad. Hey, I'm angry. That's the same thing.
I mean, they could still say it.
Yeah. Either way, they're not having to physically say the emotion that they're feeling. They're showing you how they're feeling, which is the name of the game,
Yeah. And this is also really helpful when you have characters, specifically characters that are not comfortable conveying how they feel. Because if you have a character that's used to being withdrawn, that's used to being ignored, for them to come out and say that upsets me is really odd. So being able to use that body language to, sorry, something just blew past my eyes. Being able to use that body language to show they are uncomfortable or they are upset without them having to say it, because they're not going to. If they're used to being ignored, if they're used to being withdrawn, they are not going to be comfortable telling another character they're upset by this. The characters and the reader are going to have to pick it up through the clues in the body language, which they can't do unless you write it.
Yep, that is true. Yeah. I think that's it until the witchy tip, right?
Yeah. I think that covers that part of it.
My brain was just like, okay, witchy tip. It was just like, boom.
We're done with that half of the episode, just so you know.
Yes, but write your body language so the readers know. And on to witchy tip. Since we are talking about body language, I thought it would be a good idea to bring up using movements while doing rituals or working spells or magic or whatever you want to call it. So one good way to build energy and to do rituals would be to incorporate some form of movement like dance. Not necessarily for me. I don't got that energy to begin with, but some people love dancing and they use that to help bring the energy to their rituals and stuff. So that's always a good option. Walking. So if maybe you actually have the space to set up a ritual or like a giant pentagram like you see in movies and it looks so fucking cool, walking in a circle or, pacing back and forth, those are all ways that you can use movement and energy to get things moving and flowing, as well as hand gestures. So some people, like, if you ever seen the show, I think it's called The Magicians, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. They do like a lot of hand movements when they're casting magic. Granted, I wouldn't do that. I would feel silly, but some people might find that that helps focus their energy or would help them bring energy to their magic. There you go. Yeah. My brain is very choppy right now. So sorry.
And in the movement, if you do have something set up or you are trying to do some kind of ritual and you don't have the space to pace a circle, something that druidic magic uses a lot of is facing each of the cardinal directions. So just turning in place as you go. Even if you're sitting, if you're in a chair, you can move your chair to face each cardinal direction is a way to incorporate movement into a ritual or a spell in that way. And hand gestures, it doesn't have to be a big, expansive hand gesture. There's a reason that the prayer position is a popular one because it is a focus. I mean, look at it. It's a focus.
Yeah.
So don't feel like Christianity has its exclusive rights on that. That is
Yeah.
definitely something you can utilize in your practice if you feel so inclined. Um, uh, and speaking to some of our people with special needs, if you are someone that signs or you know how to sign, maybe kind of doubling your spell with sign as well as spoken word, or if you're only able to sign, um, that is a movement, that is an expression that you can utilize in your spells as well.
I didn't even think about that, but that's a good point.
I have a friend that's an interpreter, so it's always kind of in the back of my head.
That's really cool. Man, yeah. Have you seen the interpreters for like rap concerts? Holy shit, they're amazing.
They
Sorry,
are
totally
amazing.
off topic. But yeah, but that's a form of focusing energy and using your hands, and yeah, that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, I've tried to learn sign a few times because of my kids, and I am not good at learning other languages, and I will fight you if you tell me that American Sign Language is not its own separate language, because it is.
Oh, it is.
Um,
Because there's like multiple forms of sign languages too.
yes,
So
there is not a universal sign language now.
yeah, that would be hard. That's crazy. Yeah, languages I've tried learning multiples and I don't remember
Yeah,
anything. I did 2 years in high school. I'm pretty sure my Spanish teacher would be pretty upset with me that I don't remember anything she taught me.
I did four,
4 years of Spanish and
and
you didn't remember anything?
I remember some, but I couldn't hold a conversation.
Oh no. And it's funny because I can understand when people talk to me a little bit in Spanish, but if I try to talk back, absolutely not. Nope. So I can
Yeah,
understand a little bit, but not a lot.
that's
Basic
fair.
conversation. So yeah, use movement in your practice if you so feel called to do so. It can't hurt, can only help.
And some deities really do appreciate dance as
They
well.
do.
So you may have a deity that really does appreciate you incorporating dance into your rituals. So that's something to think about. You may be uncomfortable doing it, and again, it's take what resonates and leave what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
No one is forcing you to do anything.
Yeah. All right. Back to body language. um, so another thing that we like to bring up when talking about body language, and it's not just so when looking at other people, but also what your character may be feeling or going through. And typically you want to show this through the five senses. So taste is a big one. I like to talk about when my characters are eating. I like to describe the foods that they eat because I know I've read so many books where I've never seen these characters eat, and I'm like, holy shit, or you guys have got to be hungry. So I do sometimes like to indulge my readers in, hey, they're having this really nice meal, and this is what it tastes like. And there's definitely been times when I thought about putting recipes in the back of my books. That might be something I consider next time. But
That's
yeah,
fair.
so giving your readers something that your characters may taste, whether it's them eating a really nice meal or maybe they drink a potion that tastes like absolute dog water and it's bitter or it's slimy or it sticks to the roof of their mouth like peanut butter or it's herby. Those are all things that you can tell your reader or explain to them the taste so they can get that sensory sensation, I guess, although they're not actually tasting it. If that makes sense.
Well, and it's also it's really strong emotion can act like taste in the mouth. That's why one of the examples is because it's a common saying that their actions left a bitter taste in their mouth because they regretted it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bad emotion. It if you feel if it triggers a sensory memory, you can taste it even if you're not actually eating anything.
Yeah.
Like you smell blood, you taste it if you've ever
Tastes like
tasted
copper.
blood. Yep, tastes like copper.
Tastes like
So
licking a
yeah,
penny.
it can
Gross.
trigger
Sorry.
It can trigger sensory memory. So even
Yeah.
if they're not actually tasting anything, it can still. I've used it frequently. It left a bitter taste in their mouth, whatever actions happened, or yeah. So yeah, definitely majority is going to be they're eating something or drinking something, but strong emotions, sensory memories can also be applied in that respect.
Yeah. The one I like to use is um like acid on their tongue, like when they say something really mean or something that they will regret. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. The next one would be their eyes. So talking about the way their eyes move, or they can narrow, they can shift, they can snap to someone. Those are good indications of showing your eyes are like the windows to the soul. So if you can explain what's going on with their eyes, it's a really big indicator on how a character may be feeling at that time. Again, the eyes darkening. They're feeling lust. You know what I mean?
I told you our brain waves are on the same length.
Yeah, so it's like if their eyes darken, you know they're feeling lust. If their eyes snap to someone when they say something, they're irritated. Or they can't believe that they just said that. Or something along those lines. The eyes are a really great indicator of showing emotions.
And one that some people will commonly use without thinking about it is your eyes do dilate with strong emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So fear um, is usually the most common one, although they do like to use lust. Close your eyes up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's a common one to use. But it's also, I mean, it's a legit reaction. Someone that is very fearful, if that I've used it more than once, like you could only see the pale ring of color around their pupil because their eyes are blown open so wide because of whatever's happening. Their or
Mm-hmm.
adrenaline is rushing through them, and it's a scientific response of the body trying to take in as much light as it can so it can see as much as possible because something is wrong and the body is trying to help compensate for that. So that is a legit thing. That is not just authors going, how can we make this interesting?
Yeah. And I would say a good example of this is go watch people that do ghost hunting in the dark that are using infrared cameras because they always look really strange because their eyes are so open because they are in such a dark space. Their pupils are huge and their eyes are really wide open, and you know that they can't really see all that much, but that is a good indication of like what someone looks like when they are scared because their eyes are huge and you're like you could tell they are physically uncomfortable with not being able to really see. So that, and you know, it's just kind of funny to watch them in the dark.
That's also where seeing the whites of their eyes, all around their eyes, kind of comes from when your eyes are open really wide. You can't open your eyes wide enough. You can see the whites on the top and the bottom of your eyes. Yeah. See, there you go. Well done. Uh, when you're really scared, because your eyes do open that much, trying to take in as much light as possible, so you can see as much as possible.
Yeah. Another one would be touch. So this would be a good one to show like anger, like if someone's pulling their fingers into their palms and causing pain, or the whites on someone's knuckle because they're gripping something so tight. That one's used a lot. I've seen people white knuckle and everything lately. Um, or even crossing their arms, showing we both just did it.
Very
um,
defensive movement.
yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I'll give a little toot with it too. Um, or even if like you are looking at more of the sensual side of things, the way someone touches another person's arm or their fingers touching, that's another way of giving this body language to indicate how they're feeling, building tension, showing emotions. Touch.
Another kind of way not someone touching someone else's skin, but goosebumps. You
Yeah.
feel that. You can
Mm-hmm.
feel the goosebumps running up your skin when you're terrified or when you're cold. You can feel the hairs raising on your arms when you're scared. So that is a sensation of touch as well, even if it is your own body just reacting to whatever is around you, versus someone actually, touching you.
Yeah. A shiver also. Or feeling that creepy crawly sensation when something is making someone uncomfortable. Where you're just like, oh, gross.
Yeah.
That's another touch sensation. I only thought of shiver after you mentioned goosebumps because I'm like, yeah, I've written that quite a few times in the book that I'm currently writing. Poor girl. She's got a lot going on.
And also kind of a sense of touch. It's more presence, but feeling, we use the word feeling a lot with this. Feeling someone's eyes on you. Or they could feel there's someone watching them, that kind of thing. That is a version of touch that you can use. It's more of a presence
Yeah.
touch versus an actual touch, but you could still utilize it that way.
That's kind of like one of those gut feelings. Like, no,
Hmm.
you can't, like, a gut feeling isn't, like, yes, it's in your body, but there's something outside of yourself that's telling you something's wrong. Something's going on, something's not right. That gut feeling is also one of those presence type touches.
Yeah.
Another one would be sound. So this could be, literally anything really hearing wise, but I know a lot of the ones that we see is like people hearing ringing in their ears or hearing their own breath is another one, their heartbeat. Those are all things that people can hear that will give something to the readers on the what's going on.
You can hear their teeth grinding. You can
Oh,
see it, but you can also hear it.
that's an
You
awful
can
sound.
hear their jaw. It is an awful sound. I hate it. But yeah, if someone is like in a state of shock, either emotionally, physically, both, sometimes they'll have that ringing in their ears, and so that's why it takes the second for someone that's in shock to really be able to acknowledge someone speaking to them, because they're that ringing and they literally can't hear you.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense. I'm trying to think of anything else that would go for sound. Um,
you can hear the knuckles cracking. That's a
I don't
fun.
like that.
If you...
All I can think about when you said that was like those chiropractor videos where they're like, okay, 1, 2, and you just hear like these like
I love that sound.
I'm just like, oh my god, sounds like they're breaking our backs.
It feels so good though.
It does, especially when your back is like sore. And I know there's so many varying opinions on chiropractors. But I'll tell you what, when you've had your hip shifted the wrong fucking way because of someone giving you a back rub, uh, that chiropractor saved my freaking life. Oh my god. I went in and she was like, yeah, your pelvis is like tilted forward and like crooked. I'm like, save me, please. It hurts. I can't do anything. She was like, don't worry, I got you. Best freaking $25 I've ever spent in my life.
That's fair.
So another one would be smell or your breath. So this would be something, the one we all see, she held her breath without even realizing it. There's that one. Or it could be something like, obviously they talk about the fragrances, the scents of people, the way they smell, or I'm trying to think of the one, like, especially like when it comes to like heat or cold, you can smell that in the air, or
A
what's
storm.
the other, yeah, like rain is coming or something like that. Those are all things that you can explain that a character can smell. But smell can also bring back memories. It could be the scent that brings some type of emotion back because They smelled like the cookie that their grandma baked them back when they were a child, and it can trigger an entire memory that just goes on, and you can explain something in your book for your character that way. Smell's a big one.
Also, a more visceral way of using it is some people can smell fear.
Yeah.
Like, that's not just a saying. Humans do give off.
Exude.
Thank you.
You're
Give
welcome.
off sense that some people can smell. Yeah, you're more likely to see it in an animal with a better scent organ, but some people. But you know what also smells when someone's scared?
What?
Urine.
Really?
Hey, yeah, you can smell
Oh,
piss.
when you
Someone's
pee?
scared enough.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant like
Someone's
their pee
scared enough,
smells
they piss
different because they're
themselves.
scared.
Oh, no. If someone's scared enough they piss themselves, you smell it.
I mean, the people have said they're so scared they shit themselves too. So I mean, that's another
Yeah.
one. Or anxiety. Man, you get anxiety
someone's
sweats.
sweating? Yeah.
Yes, you can smell it. So that's another way that you can show your character's
Especially since people like to write teenage heroes. Teenagers smell, man.
Oh my god. They smell so awful. Like, as an adult, I would wonder, like, I thought back to those days when I felt so self-conscious and, like, would use, like, stickfuls of deodorant because you just constantly stink. The raging hormones. Oh my god. Could you imagine the socks on those people? Oh. Yuck.
Or even if you're an adult, if you're traveling for a long time and you don't get a chance to take a bath, you smell.
Oh yeah.
No matter how much the author may not want that to happen, even if they don't write it, some person is still gonna be going, "Oh my god, they gotta stink."
I'm just saying, and if they're traveling during the hot months and they are in a warm climate that's humid, they got swamp ass so bad. And that would be awful. And when people travel and then they do stuff together, I'm like, you guys need a bath first. That's gross.
Or after a battle, you're gonna smell. You're gonna smell the blood. You're gonna smell the gore. You're gonna smell the sweat. You're gonna smell the shit. You're gonna stink to high heaven. Please have your characters take a bath first. For the love of God.
Please. Oh my god, I swear, my characters would be like in the shower doing stuff and then shower after. Just make them shower, please. Give them a bar of soap. So now we're going to kind of jump to a little bit different topic. It's still dealing with body language, but these are reading body language cues. So, are your characters picking up body language, or are they choosing to actively ignore the signs that they're seeing? There are some characters that I've read where it's like body language is like a bright red flag in their face, and they're just like, I'm going to ignore what I just saw. So you have to decide, is your character going to be someone that picks up on these body language cues and points them out or notices these small things, or are they just going to ignore the neon lights in front of their face because it's just convenient to just not deal with it?
Yeah. And to be fair, there are also characters that are straight up not able to see it. Because they are naive, they're inexperienced, they have autism, and they are blind to body language.
Yep, that's fair. Or you have the flip side where they overanalyze every body language cue that they see. They could be like, someone could just have a nervous habit of like putting their hair behind their ears and like, that's someone's lying cue. They're lying. Everyone that does that, they lied to me. Or something like that where every little cue is being analyzed and nitpicked and pulled apart to where they are trying to like hyper analyze people. which sometimes they could be right, but that's kind of nuts, you know, analyzing something that minute all the time with every little individual being. So that's another thing you can decide on.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're good at it, or overanalyzing it, or completely blind to it.
Yeah. And then there's also, is your main character the one that is seeing it, or is it the side characters that are bringing up the slight body language cues that they're noticing? Or because maybe you do have your main character, maybe they are autistic and they don't see body language that is clearly right in front of them that could be a huge red flag, and they're just like, okay. And then maybe their best friend's like, bro, how did you not see that? This is what's going on. They are clearly lying to you, or they're clearly into you. I've seen that one too, where someone could be hard. I've seen this in my real life. Someone was hardcore flirting with my husband, and I'm just like, hello, they're flirting with you. And he's like, no, they're not. And I'm like, you're blind, brother. You are blind. So there could be that person that is so blind to it, and it's the other person telling them, like, they're really into you, or they hate your guts, or something along those lines of your side characters bringing up the body language.
Yeah, I think the brain cell left because all I can do at this point is agree with you.
The brain
I was doing
cell
so good.
went off. It flew away. Let me see. What was this point? Hold on. Sorry. The brain cell's trying to leave me too, and I'm holding on to it for dear life. Are you going to use body language as you can? Okay. You can use body language to cue readers in on certain things happening within the story, or you could do the opposite, and you're using it to steer them away from something that you may not want said or shown right now. So it is to either distract or mislead your readers to somewhere else. So it would be like the red herring of body language, essentially. So you can do that and find ways for body language to distract your readers. So like, maybe, you know, they're talking to someone about something that they want done over here, but then they look at another person and start talking or ignoring someone, and you're just like, oh, well, they're mad at them. Clearly, you wouldn't just ignore someone like that. So it's a good way to kind of trick readers into leaning one way or the other, or exposing something that you want exposed. So body language can be used in that way as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to deceive, because the other thing is, wow, I just tried to choke on my own spit. That's awesome. Anyway, maybe your character is only observing the body language of one other character at the time, and maybe later on in a memory they realize that another character was giving body language that they should have been paying attention to. So you can kind of pick that up. Or another character was told them, it's like, they were staring at you the whole flipping time, and the main character is like, they were?
Yep.
Kind of thing. So you can use it that way as well.
Yeah. But overall, body language is a great way to, again, show emotions for characters that is not just saying, hey, this character's mad. This character's happy. We're sad now. So go forth and use all of the body language in your books. Do it.
I mean, have some dialogue in there too.
Oh, yeah.
Please.
I mean, unless your characters just literally cannot speak. I guess.
Well, actually, when you use sign language in a book, you are technically supposed to be using quotation marks because they are technically speaking.
Is it Is it the Hail Mary Project that, like, half of the book there is no dialogue because he is by himself?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't read
Or
it.
there's no dialogue or something like that? I can't remember. There was, like, a book where there was, like, literally no dialogue because the character was by themselves the entire time. That would have been so
I mean,
nice to
that
read.
makes sense. I would have had
Yeah.
my character talking to themselves at some point, though, because I would have been
Yeah.
talking to myself at some point.
I 100% would have probably had full-blown conversations with myself, especially if I'm stuck alone in space or something crazy like that.
With
I
different
would have...
voices. I know you. It would have been different voices, too.
It would 100% be different voices, accents. I would be having my own personal sitcom by myself.
Yep.
And I'm not ashamed to say it. People have to keep themselves entertained and sane somehow. That would be mine.
That is fair.
So I think that brings us to the end of this episode and on to book reviews. I finished my book.
Yay!
I did it. So do you want to go first or should I?
I can go first real quick. Mine won't take long.
Okay.
So I'm just doing two really small, quick ones real quick. They are both from the author, I'm going to say it wrong, Monte Plaisance, Plaisance, but they're also both from Thessaly Publications, so it's from the Thessalian religion. One of them focuses on Athena, the goddess of wisdom, war, and crafts. The other one focuses on Artemis, mistress of nature and goddess of the hunt. If you know Greek mythology at all, you know who these two goddesses are. I just told you who they are. They're not bad resources. I'm not sure I should have bought the hard copy of them. They're tiny little things. For as much as I spent on them, they're itty bitty, like little pamphlets. But it covers the basics of, their myths, what's known about them, how they were worshipped, how we can translate that into modern day worship if you are so inclined to bring from ancient traditions into modern traditions with that different morality shift, especially goddess of war. Their symbols, their signs, colors, that kind of thing. They're all in here. Again, I would have bought them electronically if you decide to look at these. I'm also not 100% certain these aren't AI generated.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in there that says it, but there's some tells. I'm not going to say 100% that it was AI generated because I've looked and I can't find anything out for sure, but it feels like it. Like the image, the covers kind of tell me they might be AI. So yeah, I leave that to your discretion, depending on how you feel about AI. Wouldn't buy them in hard copy if I were you, unless you just happen to see them at a garage sale or something.
Yeah,
might be worth it in the ebook format. I'm probably not going to be buying from this particular publication company again. So
yeah,
that's it.
Well, it took me a little while. I would have finished this much sooner if I had not gotten so sick. But I read Alice Hoffman's Magic Lessons. This is technically the third book written, but it is the first chronologically. And it is all about Maria Owens, who is the original starting witch of the Owens line, which is based off of the book Practical Magic. So I think Practical Magic was technically the first book written, if I'm not mistaken. So that was the first book written, and then that's when the movie came along after that. Second book, third one, and then the fourth book is technically the second Practical Magic. The way these were written out of order is kind of confusing, but this one does follow Maria Owens, and it is all about how she grew up and how she went on to have her own daughter named Faith, and just how they go about magic in Salem right before and during the witch trials. A lot of this has to do with love and how the family curse started, how any man that dare falls in love with an Owens woman is doomed to die. That's where this started, was her. And it goes into detail on why and how she did what she did with this curse. And let me tell you, this is a 5-star read for me. I cried. If a book can make me cry, it is a 5-star read. Because most books these days cannot get me to cry. And this one had me turning the page with tears running down my face. I was like, oh my God, please, please. So, yes. If you like practical magic, I definitely suggest picking this up and reading it. In the beginning, I won't lie, it definitely feels a little bit kind of... She's trying to basically tell you how she's qualified to be a witch by telling you all the things she knows on different herbs and what they're used for and all of those things. So it feels very, let me tell you all of the knowledge I know in this short first few, first 50 pages or so of that, which to an extent I can appreciate. But it does get to be a little bit much. Once you start getting into the story, though, of Maria Owens and her daughter and the father of her daughter and the man she ultimately falls in love with, it is really good. And it's kind of heart-wrenching at times because you're just like, why are you doing this to yourself? Just love that man. So, yeah, it's definitely a good book. Like I said, it's a 5-star read for me. And this is probably going to be one that is up here for days, months to come. Because, yeah. It seems like every 5-star read that I've had lately is... excuse me, has been about witches, so...
Sure.
Yeah. So sorry.
She dies from coughing.
My throat got, really dry and itchy. So yeah. That, I think, would bring us to the end of this episode. You can find us at writingwithwitches.com. And you can email us at writingwithwitches@gmail.com. We are on Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, TikTok, and YouTube. As Writing with Witches. Sorry, I keep coughing now. And you can find me... Oh, we also have a Discord server. As Writing with Witches. You can find me at all the aforementioned places as author Nicole Autumn, except Instagram, which is Nicole Autumn Author. I have my own website as authornicoleautumn.com, and all of our information will be linked down below. Leona.
You can mainly find me on Facebook and Instagram as Leona Urbanski Author. You can also find my website, leonaurbanskiauthor.com, or sign up for my Substack at leonaurbanskiauthor.substack.com. You're going to be able to find both of us at mythweaverbooks.com, where you can find all of our books and merch. We are also on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Mythweavers is the channel where our audio short stories is being released. So if you want to hear those, go there. And then you can also find me at Leo's Book Reviews on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, where I am dropping shorts every time I finish a book. And I just finally published the May monthly wrap up, and it's the middle of June. But hey, better late than never. So.
Yeah. You got it done, and that's what matters.
Right?
Okay, so that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you all for watching and or listening, and we hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.